everybody, this is the Makoa taking you through another Champions Who Is video. This time we're looking at the newly released champion as of patch CB 30, Makoa, a fighter. Lots of health, lots of damage, getting into the thick of the action. Let's take a look at his skills. As you might expect from a turtle, he's all about the damage taking rather than necessary straight out damage, but his main ability, his left click, is a 700 damage cannonball, a very slow firing weapon, but up close and personal it's doing a lot of damage. This rather ties into the theme of this latest patch release, which is lowering time to kill. So a lot more damage is being done, and you're expected probably to die a little bit more, which, you know, seems a bit odd when you're releasing this kind of champion, but there you go. In keeping with the aesthetics of an old repurposed cannon, Makoa's left click ability is a sort of slightly looping shot rather than a sort of all-out missile straight along attack, so there is a little bit of curving that you can do to get to areas that a straight shot might not necessarily be able to. However, as you can see, realistically your biggest downfall with your left click ability is the fact that it is a very slow firing and quite a slow reload time on this as well. Although you do see the little crab fly off when it does a reload, which I think is kind of cute. Take a look and see him in a second. Slightly counterintuitively, this is not an AoE weapon of any sort. It is direct damage only, so don't be expecting to fire into a group of people on the ground and getting lots of splash damage. And like 99% of the weapons in Paladins, this scales damage to distance. So the farther you are away, the less damage you do. But as you can see, it can hit quite a long way away. Not exactly infinitely, but quite a long way. Makoa's right-click ability has led to some accusations of copying from that other game, but realistically, it's still a good ability regardless of where the inspiration may or may not have come from. Personally, I rather like to think it's more like the Scorpion ability, especially when you consider the voice acting that goes with it. In a way, this ability combines the two abilities of Grover, his Q and his F, in that you get up and close with a target, but you're also increasing the damage taken on them, and you also get a stun. This is the ability you should be using to get into the fights that you want to take on, rather than relying on distance to try and make it happen. Now, for some reason in the training room, it seems to break the neck of whoever you're firing your anchor at. I don't know what we did to Fernando here, but it happens to everybody else as well. Now, interestingly, in the training room again, if you see these two are on a slight ledge above us, as we pull them forward, it doesn't actually pull them straight away into the champion. I don't know whether that's a bug, particularly in the training room, or whether that would happen in real life on the playing field, but maybe just something to be aware of if you're trying to pull somebody down from a ledge above you. And just to remind you, this is for grappling onto enemies only. You cannot pull yourself up to other platforms. Now, Makoa is part of the fighter class, which includes Grover and Buck and Ruckus, all noted for having high health and large amounts of damage, but not necessarily for shielding. Makoa's Q ability is his Shell Shield, and this produces a 360-degree shield, very much like Grok's Totem ability, and this prevents damage for 6,000 health for 4 seconds. It's incredibly powerful, really useful for capturing points or defending payloads or keeping enemies off of a situation where normally they'd be coming in and swatting a team maybe 3 or 4 on 1. So what's the downside of this ability? Well, you can't do anything else once you've popped your shield. So it's great for escaping, great for protecting your teammates, not so great if you're in the middle of a firefight and you really, really want to take out some enemies. So pop it when you need to or to protect your teammates. In keeping with a lot of the other Paladins in the game, the F ability is a movement ability, Shell Spin. Makoa will fire forward at quite a high pace, dealing damage to enemies in his path. Now, whilst you might be able to take out an enemy on the 1 bar of health with this ability, realistically it's a way of either getting into a fight or getting out of a fight. It's not really for doing damage. You have limited control whilst you're using Shell Spin, so you can curve yourself a little bit, but not for very long. I mean, the ability itself doesn't last for a particularly long time either. It also contains no hover, so if you're firing yourself over a gap, you will just fall down in it. So finally, let's take a look at his ultimate ability, Ancient Rage. If you have played Grover and you've used his ultimate ability, you will have an idea of exactly how this works. Basically, you're going to be doing melee damage in a short area around you with a massive health boost to try and help you survive in that situation, which does give it a little something over Grover's ability. But it's very, very slow. It's not going to do the same sort of damage over time, but it lasts a little bit longer, so it's got some advantages and some disadvantages. I'll give you 2 examples of good use and bad use. Here we've got a split of enemies over a load of distance. So we're in, we hit one, but then we have to run to the next one, and we get one, and we run, and we're running to the next one, and we run to the next one, and we don't actually kill all 3 targets. However, if you've got them in a short space, you pop it, you can hit 2 enemies more at once at a time, and here we managed to hit, just in time, the triple kill. So who is Makoa? Well, he's an extremely tough, slightly slow-moving fighter, able to deal insane amounts of damage to a single target, and he's able to protect his teammates at the same time. His playstyle is very easy to pick up, so any new players can pick him up and use him effectively, and his abilities allows him to be offense and defense equally. So I guess the real question is, why are you not playing him? I've been the man called Megs, taking you through the Makoa champion. Remember to like, comment and subscribe for more Paladins content, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.